Now we got to get into this. Ooh-wee. Y'all, did y'all hear? It got a little messy. It got a little messy out there. Just saying. Scarlett Johansson, aka the Black Widow, files a lawsuit against the House of Mouse, Disney, over the Black Widow release. Woo! Let me tell y'all, when I saw this, I was like, what? Disney? Black Widow? Y'all going at it? There was only one thing that came to my mind.
Fight, 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 fight. I'm coming. Fight.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, listen, I was just doing that just for myself. I just thought this was hilarious. But let me give you the rundown of what's just the gist of it. And because there's a lot of stuff to dissect here, right? So basically, Scarlett Johansson and her people, they are upset with Disney because their impression is that, we signed a contract with y'all. In that contract, we said that Black Widow was supposed to have a theatrical release. Now, Disney, so let me give you their side first. Okay, so they were like, you were supposed to give us an exclusive release, but you didn't do that. Instead, you did a theatrical release and you did the Disney Plus premiere option. Now, we had talked about this last week, but what ended up happening was Black Widow suffered a huge dip in the second week. Like the numbers just went down. Why is that? Well, I mean, yeah, they like 80 million the first week. They was looking good and everything, but the second week, well, guess what? If you paid for Black Widow online or whatever through Disney Premiere, you're not going to go rewatch the movie and pay for it again. Because once you pay that 30, that's it. You got it. So back in the day, if you wanted to go see a movie in theaters again, you'd have to get up and go pay for it again. And according to ScarJo's people, she had incentives built in. So like, if the movie hit a certain mark in the box office, she would earn a bonus. Well, if people ain't going back to the movies, that movie ain't about to hit them benchmarks, which means she's out of money. She's out of luck in hitting those benchmarks. It's kind of messed up, right? So according to her people, again, they had went and they were afraid of this whole Disney Plus dual release thing. And they went and talked to Disney and they were like, yo, Disney, we need to restructure this contract because this is something that happened similar with Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman 84. Right after WB was like, you know what? We're going to drop all our movies on HBO Max. Forget the theater. We're just going to do all of that. And once they got all that pressure and pushback from everybody, basically they came back and was like, okay, Patty Jenkins, Gal Gadot, all right, we're going to slip you a little money on the backside from the streaming revenue. Cool. Like, there was no beef there because we understood there was a pandemic. We understood what was going on. We get at least a little something on the back end. Everybody's happy. So ScarJo's people, they went to Disney and they was like, hello, we need a new contract. Hello. Disney was like, left them on scene. Did not come back and talk to them. Why? Because they don't have to. Disney didn't have to go back and talk to them. Disney was just like, yeah, we heard you. And went off on their own business. So here's the thing. After this happened, let me give you the next thing. Now, this was going to cause a very interesting ripple effect. And what was that ripple effect? Now they got Emma Stone. They got Cruella suing, at least considering to sue. And this is just, reportedly, she's considering suing Disney for similar reasons. Matter of fact, this ain't even the only thing that happened. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get this as well. My man Gerard Butler is suing Olympus has fallen for royalties as well. So this is something that is really going on with actors where they're like, yo, this streaming stuff, the main studios, whenever they get money from the streaming properties, they keep that. That's straight profit for them. They don't have to split that money if they don't want to. That's just them. But when the money goes to the theaters, they got to split that up. They got to go to the agents, to the the actors, directors, to get whatever the contract stipulate. But the money splits up when it goes through theaters. But they also earn more money too. But man, when Disney can sit here and be like, man, we got $60, no cut, no profit, no cops on nothing. That's our money. And ScarJo and them people was like, yo, can we get some of that bread? Because we already know that you don't have to share it. Now, this is great for Disney stockholders, but for the actors, for the talent, it sucks. They don't get any of that kickback. Now, to be fair, also, a lot of these contracts with Disney and these studios were made before the pandemic. Okay, they were made before the pandemic. So, it's kind of like there was always a rolling assumption. It was almost like an industry standard in a sense that when you say theatrical release for this movie, it's assumed that that's what it's going to be. It's going to be in the theaters. And then after 30, 40 days or whatever, it'll go to DVD, streaming or whatever. And then that'd be it. But this simultaneous thing, that's new. That is a whole new standard that is becoming a thing for these streaming platforms that was not considered back in 2018, 2019, when when these contracts may have been signed. And yes, I do agree that it is a bad strategy, even though it was an understandable strategy. I mean, we talked about this last week. I believe that streaming is best for movies that normally would not do very well in theaters, right? So, Black Widow, it's a big Marvel movie that needs to go to theaters and kind of stay in theaters. Cruella, things like that. Those are movies that need to go to theaters and stay there. But if you have like something else that's maybe a little bit lower, maybe an unknown family movie or something like that, put that on streaming. I don't know if you really got to charge, but even if you wanted to, fine. But yeah, this because of this backlash, not this specific lawsuit, but because of the backlash of the dip. Now, here's the thing. Remember, we talked about this last week too. Theater companies, the theater owners, the association or whatever, they called out Disney and other people too about the significant dip that happened. They like, yo, the reason why movies are not doing very well is because of your stupid dual release strategy. And it was reported that Disney, after Jungle Cruise, which just came out, after Jungle Cruise, it's been reported that Disney has no further plans of doing a dual release as of right now. So moving forward right now, if they have a big movie, which what do we got? We got Shang-Chi coming up in September. That might be only in theaters, no Disney Plus Premium, and we just stick with that. So that is something that's a model that they were kind of testing, and it looks like they're about to give up on it, which I think is a very good idea. But we'll get to the second part to this. All right, now we got to get to the second part of this story because I told y'all there's more. Disney clapped back. Disney was like, okay, all right, this is sad. So sad. What are you talking about? Oh, this is sad. Let me read y'all what Disney said, though. There is no merit whatsoever to this filing. Ooh! In a fiery statement, the lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Ooh. That's it. Disney flipped the script on her, okay? They said, first of all, your case, get out of here with that. It's nonsense. You ain't even got nothing here, okay? You ain't got nothing here. And on top of that, here's something else. And I was talking to one of my lawyer friends, one of the legal consultants for E-Man's movie reviews. And my homie was saying that, like, for one, Disney has no obligation, unless it's contractually stipulated, to actually engage with her on a renegotiation. They really don't have to. They don't have to do any of that. Second, normally these type of situations would go to arbitration. They don't usually, this type of stuff happens all the time in the movie industry. You know, the talent gets upset, they want some money, they go to arbitration, they settle something, and that's it. That's how that usually happens. But this time, ScarJo's people, they made this public. This was posted on the on the Wall Street Journal. That is unprecedented. Why? Because she wants this to get, she wants more public support. But Disney's comment, that clapback, that right there, they just said, yo, why don't you care about people dying? Why don't you care about this pandemic? They was like, it's a whole pandemic and you asking people for money? Y'all see what Disney just did? Did y'all peep Disney's game? Yo, that's masterful. I'm just saying, that's massive. Whoever's working in their PR department, masterful. Because the thing is, what you want to do is, ScarJo was like, you know what? Y'all messing with my pockets. I don't like it. And we're going to put it on Front Street for everybody to see. And Disney was like, Why are you so heartless? Why are you so heartless? What about the people? What about the people at home? That's what Disney said. Oh my goodness. That was brilliant. But here's the messed up thing. The messed up thing is that whoever loses in this is going to look bad. They're going to look so bad. Because right now, if ScarJo loses, and I'm going to tell y'all who I think is going to win this in a second. If ScarJo loses, she gonna look greedy. She gonna look uncaring because, you know, people gonna be like, oh, look at this millionaire. She already made. Oh, Disney. Oh, they even said something. The company went on to state that their star has already received $20 million for her work and argued that the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus with Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she has received to date. Yo, Disney said, we already paid you $20 million. They said, we paid you $20 million and we increased your opportunity to make more money. They are making ScarJo look greedy as ever. And I will just say this, because it's easy for us, because we all broke, right? Like, I don't think anybody here is a millionaire. Y'all know I ain't no millionaire. I'm just going to say, off of principle, I'm not mad at ScarJo for fighting for her money. I don't care if she a millionaire and she asking for more millions. I get that. But if it was us, yo, you paid me 20, but I was supposed to make 50. Oh, we going to have a conversation about my $30. Okay, let's just put it in real people's terms. Okay, you gave me 20. I was supposed to make 50. We gonna talk about this $30. Okay, we gonna take it to Judge Joe Brown. I don't know, somebody. Just take it to the people's court. I want my $30. Okay, so all I'm saying is, this is something that, like, Disney is relentless with this. Now, here's the other part of this. Kevin Feige is mad. Oh, he is pissed. He's so pissed. Now, this is allegedly according to an insider. Let's see, what did he say? And make no mistake, Feige is pissed. He's a company man and not prone to corporate showdowns or shouting matches, but I'm told he's angry and embarrassed. He lobbied Disney against the day and date plan for Black Widow, preferring the big screen exclusivity and not wanting to upset his talent. And then when the stuff hit the fan, the movie started tanking and Johansson's team threatened litigation. He wanted Disney to make this right with her. Now that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Hold on, Brooke. Don't do that. Brooke, don't do that. Well, you know how Disney feel about them kids sometimes, though. But anyway, that's a different conversation. Kevin Feige, and you know what? I believe Kevin Feige in this situation because this is a very similar thing to what happened with James Gunn. When James Gunn had, far right-wing people going on Twitter, bringing up old stuff that he already apologized for twice, for inappropriate, stupid pictures or jokes that he was making because he was an idiot back then. People brought that up, and then all of a sudden, the people above Kevin Feige, Alan Horn and Disney, because keep in mind, Disney owns Marvel Studios. The people above Kevin Feige fired James Gunn. They fired him just out of nowhere. So Kevin Feige didn't like that either because they just went above him. And the thing is, Kevin Feige is the one that makes y'all money. You know what I'm saying? Like, Marvel ain't no chump. Like, Marvel brings y'all a couple $1 billion, okay, because of this guy's ideas and stuff. So he is definitely mad because of this entire situation. Now, here's another thing to consider. Part of this, and this is my suspicion, I have not read up on this, but I do think that, like my man Brandon said, this is part of like maybe an after effect from Bob Chapek. Bob Chapek is the new CEO of Disney. He's the new guy in charge, right? And the thing is, it used to be run by Bob Iger. Now, Bob Iger is not gone. He's chairman, so his presence is still there, but it's Bob Chapek that's making the big shots now. He's making the calls for Disney. And the thing is, the way I like to compare their business styles, Bob Iger to me was kind of like Steve Jobs with Apple. He was a visionary. He was all about the creative stuff. He was all about that, right? Like Bob Iger would come in and really empower a lot of the creatives. He'd be like, you know what? Let's let creativity, let's let the artists, let's let the talent lead. Kevin Feige is a brilliant creative. Let him make the big calls. So then what happened, Kevin Feige started getting more power. He started having say-so over the TV stuff. He has more say-so over the comic books, over the merchandise, over like he's getting more power because they're letting something successful, and he knows what he's doing with Marvel most of the time. And they gave him that, credit. Bob Chapek is kind of like Tim Cook with Apple. Tim Cook came into Apple. He was not the visionary, the innovator that Steve Jobs was. Tim Cook was the businessman. He was the corporate guy. And this is what Bob Chapek is. Bob Chapek is the same way. He's like, yo, how do I get the shareholders up? How do I get the stock prices up? How do I bring value to the company? So what he started doing was dismantling a couple things where he was like, yo, we're going to put these corporate people in place to make decisions, where Bob Iger was like, nah, let the talent make the decisions. So because of that change in structure, you're going to have a disruption in leadership, and you're going to have a disruption in direction with the company. This can be problematic because the positive stride that we saw Marvel Studios and stuff was having, that was because of the direction of Bob Iger. When we start seeing a shift, when we start seeing these bumps in the road, this is going to fall under Chapek one way or another. So when Kevin Feige, even behind closed doors that he's mad or whatever, I believe it, because the same thing was said when they fired James Gunn and he was mad behind closed doors. He's a company man. He's not going to go out in public and say nothing at all. He's going to be quiet. He know his role. He know how to stay in his lane. He is a company man. But I guarantee you he will make his voice heard somewhere. And my thing is, I hope Disney actually listens to him, because he is bringing them a whole lot of money. You don't want to lose a Kevin Feige when he's been bringing y'all all this money. And don't worry, we're going to talk about Kevin Feige later too. But I'm just saying, you don't want to do that. You don't want to piss off your franchise player. It's just stupid. It's dumb. Why would you do that? So the fact that that's even happening, it's crazy to me. Now, the one thing I'll say about this case, because I think both sides have an argument. On ScarJo's side, her argument can be, yo, we signed this deal before the pandemic ever happened. We had a mutual understanding of what theatrical release meant, meaning that it would be exclusive to theaters. Right? When we signed this contract, wasn't nobody thinking about streaming like that. Wasn't nobody thinking about a pandemic or nothing, because it was like 2018, 2019. Nobody was thinking that. So when we all signed, we was on the same page, no different than how we've always signed stuff, right? That's just how movies would work. On the flip side of that, Disney is like, in the contract says theatrical release. ScarJo's people are saying it's implied that means exclusive to theaters. But that's not what the contract says. I was reading up a little bit on some of the contract and the claims and everything. And according to somebody familiar with the contract does not say exclusive to theater release. Now, here's the thing. If a contract is a contract, right? If the contract says release Black Widow exclusively to theaters, ain't no wiggle room. Ain't no like, oh, well, we gonna do a little bit of this and then a little bit. No. If it says exclusive, then it's exclusive. But it did not. It said Black Widow must be released in theaters with a minimum of like at least 1,500 theaters. That's all the contract said. So Disney was like, okay, we'll meet this obligation. We'll do that. And they released it. They dropped it in theaters. It was over 1,500. And they was like, but it didn't say we couldn't do Disney Plus also. So, all in it, I'm just saying, Disney found that loophole. And I'm just going to say, I don't think ScarJo's going to win this, y'all. I don't think so. This is a really good article to check this out. To really go through a lot of the different things, because the thing is that ScarJo is really trying to bank on what was implied, what was mutually agreed upon. And Disney is like, we gonna go off of what was on this paper, though. Off of this paper? Hey. And let's not act like Disney ain't got lawyers that got lawyers that got lawyers. Okay? Look, Disney got a multiverse of lawyers. Okay? They know Disney damn near controls the timeline. I just believe that that's just the case, because they like, what is this? What do you want? Go home. Look, Disney looked at her finally and was like, grow up, ScarJo. Grow up. They told this lady to grow up. They not about to, I don't know. Maybe. I think at best, what we might get from Disney, and this is literally best case scenario, is that they'll settle. I think they will settle. I think if they settle, that could be the closest that they can get, but I don't think it's going to get anything beyond that. And I don't even know what they're going to give her. What you going to give her? You're not going to give her that $50 million. Can we be honest for a second? ScarJo was under the impression that if you delayed this movie some more and you left it in theaters, it was going to make a $1 billion. This movie was not going to make a $1 billion. You wasn't even going to make Captain Marvel money. You wasn't going to hit a Billy with this. You just wasn't. I mean, I'm sorry. It's like y'all killed the character. Spoiler alert. there was no real connection to the MCU that was a huge impact. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason, I think the real reason that Captain Marvel, which is it's not my favorite. I'll just say that it's not my favorite Marvel movie. The real reason why Captain Marvel made $1 billion was because it was in between that whole Endgame Infinity War, and we was thirsty for anything that would give us a clue about Endgame. That's it. It was a benefactor of timing and positioning, and I believe Marvel knew that. Marvel was like, man, I don't know if people gonna do this female-led movie thing. We might as well put her in that sweet spot. They did the same thing with Ant-Man. Now, Ant-Man didn't, make a whole lot of money, but it certainly made more money. Ant-Man 2 made more money than the first one did. Again, right in that sweet spot right after Infinity War. So, Black Widow wasn't about to do nothing. Even if it dropped back in May 2020 when it was supposed to, it still wasn't about. You would have made Ant-Man money. 500 million, maybe 6. That's it. You wasn't about to hit on nothing. Wasn't nobody gonna be checking. Wasn't nobody doing no repeat viewings for this. For what? You died, and then you went and joined your friends and had a good time. Like, it's a prequel. So all I'm saying is, I'm with the fact that she's after her money. I support that. I support anybody. Hey, fight for your money. Do what you got to do. I don't think it's going to be a slam dunk win or loss. I do think that there are fair arguments on both sides. However, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. However, I will say the majority of lawyers I've talked to, all 2 of them, they not liking the chances right now. And it's looking like Disney might have something. This is a sticky situation. I don't think ScarJo's about to win this. I hope at the most she at least gets a settlement and get a couple dollars. Maybe Disney gives her like 10 million and be like, all right, go on somewhere. Maybe next time. At least I think Kevin Feige, because Kevin Feige does not want to have burned bridges. Like, he wants to at least try to do the best he can. So I think he is going to lobby on her behalf to kind of be like, look, you can't give it a full 50. Fine, we get it. At least give us something, because it is kind of messed up to just leave her hanging, especially if y'all did have this whole assumption together that things were going to happen. But, as one of my lawyer friends said, the whole pandemic thing, that's like an act of God. Like, when acts of God happen, sometimes those things can void out certain contractual obligations. So again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know, but what do y'all think? Whose side are you on? I am so curious. I gave y'all the whole layout. Are you on Team ScarJo, or you think Disney got this? Who you think is going to win? Let me know. Or just let me know whose side you on, ScarJo or Disney. We'll have to take it from there. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.